Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Boaz Nadav-Manes. I'm the University Librarian in Lehigh University Library. I'm sorry I cannot join you in person today. I was looking forward to talk with you all and learn from you about open library systems, infrastructure, how to best practice it, and how to make it all work out. I hope you have a great conference. I want to thank also NISO for inviting me to talk about this little project, not that little, that we've been busy with for quite a while. My own experience has been quite entrenched in library services, collections, tech services, access services. Worked at Brown, Cornell, 2 years in OCLC as a product manager for the ISNI name identifier project, and now in Lehigh for 2 years. When I joined Lehigh, I've been given that gift. So I didn't need to decide to shift gear and begin to work on an open system. Lehigh has a tradition of doing so. And honestly, that culture that cultivates innovation in this particular way, when it's given to you, it's a much easier deal than to convert from a closed system to an open system. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about our process. You're going to hear me talking about my own involvement. I've been on the FOLIO board, the Open Library Environment Board, and on the task force that was involved in creating this new governance model that we've launched a couple of months ago. And in this capacity, I'm also like at this point, the Folio SMLLC manager. Yeah, so I'm very busy with this. So here I'm going to share a few slides and go from there. So this is Lehigh, beautiful campus. It's a private university close to Philadelphia, close to New York City. We have two big libraries. This is the older one, the Lindeman Library, built in 1873. We have around 7,500 FTEs, students and graduate students, and they love the libraries. We began our journey with open source systems already in 2008. We partnered with the Duke University Library proposal to Mellon to build this new open system that will be a blueprint to inform open source library system development efforts, to guide future library system implementations, and to influence commercial integrated library system protocols. Very ambitious plan that speaks loudly even today, 12 years later. Since that time, we explored many different initiatives. In 2014, as a result of this grant and the partnerships, we've been the first library in the world to implement the OLE system, and in that year, we also implemented our discovery system, another open source system, VuFind. In 2020, August, we've implemented one of the few libraries in the world to implement Folio. We've shifted from bpress to Islandora. We're working on Project ReShare in our consortia Palsy. And we're working with several big research libraries on the e-reader SimplyE. It's also excellent for me that we have a recognition of our efforts in the new University Sustainability Strategic Plan. So in addition to, for us talking about open access, and sustainability of scholarly communication, there is a mention of infrastructure, and here it is: continue to develop infrastructure to support open access behaviors and facilitation of open processes for knowledge production. Great, obviously, to see it aligned and written up in a university-wide plan. So something about FOLIO, I think you know, it's the future of libraries open. It's a system built on microservices. You can take one app or take the whole thing. All is in GitHub. You can use the APIs between modules, between services, build your own, share it, and build your own service, build your own provider system, what you want. It's designed by librarians for librarians, so maybe different than a closed system where a provider comes in and kind of talks with you and is designing a system according to what you need. This is an ongoing engagement with providers for years and years, by which we are serving as a user base, as a community of practice, and experts to be designed by us, for us, but also for new ones, for new use cases, for new people to use it. It's based on a deep partnership between providers and libraries. Naturally, the first three is the OLE partners, the EBSCO partners, and the index data partners. But the community is now growing to include many new providers, global providers, etc. And it's aimed for an ongoing innovation, Apache 2.0 license and standards-based interoperable infrastructure. So FOLIO is a project in the Open Library Foundation community, and the OLF, or the Open Library Foundation, is providing us some infrastructure assistance, some governance, legal, safe haven for the code, and etc. It's a lightweight organization which is aimed mostly to connect different projects together to help us succeed, and to also help us with some infrastructure needs that may occur. So some of the things we were asking, I was asking, our staff were asking about it when we thought about implementation: what is the MVP? So as it's a very ambitious project and kind of ever evolving, I would say, in terms of use cases, etc., what is the MVP that is kind of good enough? And that is a local decision in the end. So at that point in August, and just before we've implemented, we knew that because maybe we're a small outfit, that almost everything we need the system to do is there. And what's not, it's livable, and we don't need to worry that much about it. We also, in the middle of a pandemic, we had less people coming and using the library services. So we thought that it may be a great time to implement it and work it out. It worked. We were thinking about hosting it, and we weren't sure if we're going to continue to self-host like we did with the previous system with Ole. We had quite a few issues with that system, and we had a provider that provided support on an ongoing basis. We thought that with FOLIO being even more complicated, we want to have the safety net from a provider that we trust that can help us. We are the first tier of support and implementation and migration, and then index data is there to assist us if something fails. Who and how do we partner with in the future? So thinking about like the whole ecosystem and the different providers we could be using, we're thinking who would be the best one we can partner with in our particular situation. Index Data is working in our consortium in Palsy to create the Project ReShare system. So naturally, we wanted to partner with them. While with EBSCO, we have a very good ongoing relationship. who is paying and for how long, HR infrastructure and advocacy. So in a closed system comes implementation day, lots of anxiety. I've done that many times. Lots of anxiety, worries, etc. And then things work or not. And then a few weeks later, you end up with a running system and ongoing annual subscription. Not the same with the open system like FOLIO. We implement in August, but we will continue to be part of this community for the long run. So that means that we're going to be helping the system to thrive, contributing ideas, innovating, and working with others. And actually, what the gain is that it's kind of network level first thinking, and it's somewhat emulating other kind of network level first library stuff, like the big collection, like preservation of books, of print books, HathiTrust and others. So we're thinking staff-wise on the tech services and acquisitions and just developers. The network comes first when you're working on a cross-institutional global open source project like FOLIO. Return on investment, just explained a little bit what it means, but also obviously there is an intellectual and otherwise kind of contribution. So it's a fit for some and not the best fit for others. In a closed system, you can help build what you want. And in a more community-based system, you share your ideas with the community. The community may accept it at the time that you like or not. So that is something just to take into account. And one more thing about this is the great story that an open source system is telling. And we are very fully engaged with that storyline. Who's forking the code, who's not contributing enough, who's contributing more, who has implemented first, like, you know, what I'm talking about today. And that is a culture that is interesting and kind of intrinsic value for the participants in the project. Something about the governance. So, thinking about how to best govern such a complicated project. So thinking about who's the community it really serves. Is it community-based? So meaning, is it research libraries, all libraries, outside libraries, etc., is very useful. Who really makes the decisions? Multi-part, big project, global. So there is some mystery, like any big project will have. Who is running it and in what way? Onboarding is not easy in such a project because like if it's a car and you want to participate in building it, you really quite often need to know all the different pieces and how they interact with each other. So any new library and folks that come in takes a little while. I've been in it for 2 years. I learn every day new things about the way it runs. Transparency and communication are an asset and a need in such an environment, and it's an overhead. But in the new governance model that was published just a few months ago, we are saying that we're putting it into writing that committees need to meet that often and to be transparent and all of that. So it's a given. Growth and ownership. So thinking that, like Leah is a founding member of the OLE project. So what does it mean when the community grows? Do we still have a say in the decision making? Do we want to have a say? How important is it, etc.? So those questions are also kind of on people's minds. The guiding principle for FOLIO is to be open, transparent, respectful, to enable local decision-making and create a sustainable community and ecosystem. As I said, all council meetings and business is open. except for some negotiations. Council decisions are made by lazy consensus to make sure that, like the project continues to be reasonable. And FOLIO is a community member project of the Open Library Foundation. So the three committees that we came up with in the past months are a little bit different than what we used to have. The main difference is the community council. We used to have the board, the Open Library Environment Board, making those big kind of tectonic sort of decisions. But now we're replacing it by a community council that is made out of 15 members from the whole community. Elections to this council were just concluded a week ago, and we have new 15 members for this one, and it's about the health of the project, the communication around it, marketing, also negotiations around the financials and otherwise. Importantly, this new council is sort of the arbitrary. If there are any conflicts or decisions that need somebody to be there to kind of make the final decision, this is it. So that's the first one. There is the product council. They are the ones that the folks that are responsible for the roadmap of the project, the gap analysis, what do libraries need the most, prioritization, all of that. And the technical council, that is the infrastructure, tech debt, all the things that a project like this may need. There are membership requirements for product council, there are membership requirements for community council, and the whole community is electing those people in a free and open elections. The most amount of votes are the winners in those. And then we've published new membership models and levels. So as any hungry project you can imagine, we look for new developers, new DevOps, new subject matter experts. And the new membership model that we've advertised is about participation. So even if you're a very small library and you want to participate in the project, you can give the project 10 hours a month to help. Or just give us, I think, $1,500 is the minimum amount that you need to give to the project in order to be officially part of it, which basically means you can be elected to the different committees. The other requirements are, if you're a very affluent library, you can just give the project amount of money, and then also help us with human resources. Our interest is to grow the community. Those organizations here are the ones that have committed the resources and membership fees for this coming year. So we have some new members and some old members in the project. We have some new providers. Very exciting for us because we want it to be vendor neutral and allowing growth of this in this way. So you can see that we have index data in EBSCO, but also knowledge integration, and also a Chinese outfit. And we have Stanford University just joined us, as well as the German partners that are very much involved in this project for a long time. The future is open, but there are questions still about sustainability. Running the FOLIO project is expensive. We have enough dues and membership commitments to support our infrastructure needs and to sustain us, but we definitely require, we'd love to have more. how many supporters, how many buyers, is it a library system platform, or is it an integrated library system? How closely will it be to an integrated library system the way we know it in a few years? Maybe it will be completely different. And also just a question about the AI changes and how will they impact governance and product. So, if several of the workflows that are very highly dependent on manual work and also intellectual input, if those will be converted into some algorithmical routines, will it have a kind of growing impact on the way we govern ourselves? The governance model is adjustable and changes, obviously, according to what we'll need. So it may. And those are some of the kind of this last slide for me about assumptions that are made across, I think, the project. And this is my own take of what we value. But what also, if questioned, is harder for the members to work with. So libraries have a role to play in society, not only in the university. Political collaboration is not too difficult to sustain. It is not easy, but it has to be well enough. Distributed control is better and efficient. Distribution of roles and abilities is natural. As a big group, a big project, you can imagine that we always strive to have the best fit, and you saw that in the governance model, but not always we're successful. Innovation is very important shaping force. Community is very important shaping force, and maybe even more important than the innovation one. Open source products are highly competitive. Open source process is effective. So those two things are definitely being talked about in this conference today. And we hope that they are going to be real. So this is it from me. I hope you have a great day and conference, and enjoy it. Thank you. Bye for now.